McAfee's lost his mind.
The Colts have the football.
The rivalry is back on.
All right, everybody, we are For the Shoe. Welcome back. This is our 5th episode. I am Matt. I'm here with Andy, Rob, and we are here to welcome Trev back. He's been at work for a couple weeks, doing Army essential things, I guess. So, welcome back, Trev.
Yeah,
right,
excited to be back on
tonight. So before we get started tonight, we're going to do a couple shout-outs. All right, we're going to do a shout-out to NFL Last Yard. This is our 32-team group. It's our sister group. So if you like to talk football, but you want to get away from the trash talk, this is the type of group you want to go join. If you have an issue with not trash talking or being disrespectful, I wouldn't go to that group. But it is an awesome group. I've been there for, I think it's going on 3 years now. I love it in there. It's awesome. So I would go in there and join that group. If you like to follow sports and get updates every day by about 60 of us, I would go follow Sports Fanatics. They update on NFL, baseball, hockey, NASCAR, wrestling, college, everything. I would go ahead and like and follow them. We update almost all day, every day. It is a great page. And then our final shout out is one of our sponsors, DNR Brakes. We have finally made a deal this week for us to officially sponsor them, and they will officially sponsor us. DNR Brakes is one of the best groups to go ahead and collect sports memorabilia from. Andy actually did his first break today. He didn't win it. I did. Got me a nice Corey Sutton Broncos mini helmet. But Matt Myers is on fire with his breaks. So definitely go and join that group if you like to collect sports memorabilia. And here we are. Episode 5. It's crazy. It's crazy. It was like 2 months ago we started the group. We started For the Shoe.
Yeah.
Because we wanted a comfortable environment to talk Colts. And then one day I go on a podcast. I get off that podcast, come back to you guys, say, hey, man, you guys want to start a podcast? Look at us now, you know. We're over a month into this. It's phenomenal.
Hey, we got highlights now, baby.
Yeah, we got so much we could do, man. It's gonna be great. Gonna be great, you know. All week. I think it was this week, right, Rob? You and I have been debating on
a lot.
I think last night we were up for hours.
Yes, they were.
Football, man. Jacob Eason or Jacoby Brissett as number 2.
You guys have any opinions, Trevor, Andy?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but I've stood by. I think Jacoby's the guy at first. You know, give Eason some time to kind of ease his way in. But, yeah, by the time the trade deadline comes out, I think we got to move Brissett and get value for him while we still can before he just walks for free. So that's my take on it.
Right.
I agree with that. My main issue with keeping Jacoby Brissett is why are we keeping him? To say we're going to keep him as a number 2 just in case Rivers gets hurt is crazy to me, because I feel like Jacoby's never going to start for us. He's never going to be QB1 again. I highly doubt it. They wouldn't have brought Phillip Rivers in if they thought Jacoby was eventually going to be QB1. I mean, he's right. What, 20? He's about to be 27. So, yeah, he's a solid backup, but I don't think he's going to be a starter for us. And I think it benefits him and us for him to move somewhere else. Rob, I can see your face. You're waiting.
Yeah.
You're waiting.
Yeah, I want to chime in on this one. As far as JB goes, obviously we all hope that Rivers, balls out and we don't have to worry about JB ever coming in again. But everything that Ballard has said is they believe that Brissett is a starter in the league. They just felt like Rivers was an upgrade for now, and it seems like we're trying to win now, in my opinion. But as far as Jacoby Brissett goes, I think he can protect the ball. I think we're a solid running team. The team believes in him, and he has longevity. And he has another year in the system. I really like Brissett as an insurance policy in case Rivers stinks it up. We don't know. He's old. Let's face the facts. He's old. We don't know that he will return to form, especially with a new team. So we all hope he does. But if he doesn't, we still have the roster around. Like, we still have so much talent that we could go to the playoffs with Jacoby Brissett. We almost did last year, and we've brought in so much more talent now. Yeah. I like our chances to make a playoff run with Brissett if it came down to it over a rookie.
Right, but it has to be stated too.
I want to think future. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it depends too, like how much you value. It's kind of like how much you value that security, right? Because we've talked about it a little bit before. Like Rivers has been really healthy through his career. He hasn't had a whole lot of health issues. Obviously, he is older, and that could grow over time. But it hasn't been a concern this far. And if he is injured, I mean, our season might be done anyway. Even if we can still make the playoffs with Brissett, I don't really think we're contending anymore with Brissett coming in over Rivers. That's just how I see it.
Fair enough.
No, yeah, I just think my only thing is I want to think long term. And as much as I like JB, and I think me and Rob were just talking about it before, right before we came on, we were talking about the way he throws the ball is. He's like a fastball thrower. He doesn't put touch on it. He doesn't control where the ball or how fast the ball moves out of his hands. And that was always my main concern with him. But future-wise, if Rivers gets hurt, so Rivers just agreed to be a high school head coach. He's got retirement in his mind. So I'm not foreseeing him coming back after this year. So at that point, I'm thinking long term. And if they are in win now mode, like we all think they are, then we need to think, well, what's beyond this win one ring type mode? And I don't think JB is that. I think if Phillip gets hurt, the best way for Eason to learn and to progress is to actually be on the field. I don't see him learning and progressing being a scout quarterback. Because we don't keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster. We only keep 2. So if we keep 2 on the roster and it's Rivers and Eason or Rivers and Brissett, then Eason is on the practice squad. And he's throwing to Reese Fountain.
All right, I understand what you're saying, but like here's my question. Like, all right, fine. If Brissett's not the guy, fine, fair enough. He's not the guy. We should trade him, get some value for him. But why Eason? Why? I've seen a lot of Eason since we drafted him. I don't think he's ready. And our team, and honestly, the surrounding talent is.
I think we drafted him with the idea that he would be a project, though. No one expects him to come in just yet and be the guy. But, given a year, given 2 years, he could potentially be at that level. But, I think that – I don't know. Let me gather my thoughts. I think they were never really looking to bring in a young quarterback. But with the way the draft played out, it's like he fell into our laps. You had to take that guy. And now we're at a point where we're in win now mode, but we obviously have this guy for the future too. So they want him to be ready to take the reins from Rivers when he does retire. So that's why it could be important to, put him in that backup position and let him develop now while he has that chance.
Fair enough. I like
the
that.
whole thing that messes me up. The whole thing that messes me up is Rivers. That's it. He is the thorn in this discussion. If Rivers was never brought in and JB was the starter, none of us would be complaining. None of us would be trying to have this discussion on who's number 2. I would have been okay with Jacoby Brissett being QB1 while Eason learned behind QB1. Why? Because, like we said earlier, Eason has the arm strength. He has the touch. He can control his throws, but it's in the pocket that he's not smart. JB is smart within the pocket. That dude does not throw interceptions. He is smart. He doesn't look down the field very well. But I do think Eason could learn from JB. My main issue is Rivers. Rivers is why this is even a discussion. And with Rivers taking this high school job, that it kind of makes me even question, why did we even bring Rivers in to begin with?
I agree. It's really confusing. And if we're not in win now mode, then why did we bring in Rivers? Why? Like Rivers is so confusing. I still don't understand it. I'm not saying that he won't win us more games than JB could. I don't know. He's more of a boomer bust guy than JB. JB's kind of like you know what you're going to get from him. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. Right. So like Rivers, like he could lose us games, he could win us games. You know, so it's like if we're not in win now mode, then why? Like it's just it's confusing.
And that's the thing too. Like you just said, Rivers could either win us or lose us games. When has JB ever lost us a game?
Right.
Single-handedly.
Run heavy offense.
And Herb, you know, he's back. He's over your comment. Rivers is the better quarterback on the team. I get it. And we all understand that he has an accomplished career. But why? I mean, at his age and with him already thinking about retirement, why did we bring him in? A couple of weeks ago, I was fine with it. I said, okay, 1 year, $25 million deal doesn't hurt us. But once I saw the article of him accepting a high school coach position, I started questioning it.
Yeah, it's definitely strange. Right. And it's definitely strange too, because I don't think anyone here, or really any Colts fans in general, I mean maybe some, but Colts fans that kind of know about football, nobody really hates Jacoby Brissett, you know. We've all liked him. We've seen the struggles, but I think a lot of people would have been fine if they said, you know, we're going to give him one more year and then we're going to draft this guy behind him. But now that we brought in Rivers, it's like it doesn't make sense to have him anymore. And that's where all this has come from.
And where the win now mode with Rivers confuses me is what has Rivers won? If we were in win now mode, we should have went and got, you know, Tom Brady or something. But we got Rivers. Rivers hasn't ever won a Super Bowl or been to a Super Bowl. In 2018, he went 12-4 with the Chargers, and he's had better rosters than what we have now. So a lot of people that we were fighting against with the signing of Rivers, because us as Colts fans are going to support him, and we're going to defend him in any way we can. But he has had better rosters than we do currently.
At times, but check this out. Like, here's the thing about Rivers. Like, he opens up the playbook a lot more for us than Jacoby Brissett could. He gives us more options, you know, more plays, more. He's gonna throw the ball down the field, whether that means throwing an interception or throwing a touchdown. He's gonna throw the ball down the field. That's what he does.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? So, and here's my question. Like, beyond instead of what did Rivers do that's so great, it's like what did Jacoby do that's so wrong? Like, because we lost multiple games on Adam Vinatieri, you know, missed kicks. Like Jacoby didn't lose us games. He wasn't great, especially but we started 5-2 and he was pretty good in the first half of the season. So like I just didn't see what he did that made us bring in a 38-year-old. It was like I told you, and I honestly, if JB started this year, I think it would have been totally different than 2018 or 2019. I think he wasn't fully prepared to start, right? I mean, Andrew Luck retired 2 weeks before the season. So with JB at full health, shoulder-wise, we were talking earlier, Rob, I personally think that it wasn't the leg injury that affected where he was affected how he played the second half of the season. I think it was his arm. I don't think he was capable of throwing those fastballs for 16 games, you know, and I don't think he was prepared for it. I think if he was named the starter after week 17 of 2019, saying, you know what, Jacoby's our guy next year in 2020, he would have made sure that he was ready. And I think he personally would have been, I think he would have been able to do it. But the only problem with me keeping him now is just because he is at that QB2 position. We did bring in Rivers, and now I'm looking at Eason as a guy we drafted in the 4th round that has the arm strength that JB has. All he needs is the knowledge, and he's 4 or 5 years younger. I like what Damon put right here.
Yeah, but, I'll bring it up.
Okay, yeah. He said, you can't have holes in your offense. You have the game managing quarterback. He's right. Like, you cannot turn the ball over. But that's the thing. Jacoby doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't make much mistakes. He just limits us in making those chunk plays. But with our running backs now, like, it's obvious the line, I don't think the offensive line is going to get any worse. They're still young. and then we bring in Taylor. Like we're gonna run. Even with Rivers, I guarantee we're gonna run the hell out of the ball. So like it's
regardless. I even said it in a group the other day, AFC South Battle or Trash Talk, whatever it is. I said it the other day, and I told somebody was saying all about Rivers winning us a Super Bowl and stuff. I said not one Colts fan has said Rivers is going to win us a Super Bowl. Not one Colts fan had said that. I told them that they do not need to worry about Rivers throwing the ball as much as they think they want to, because they want Rivers to throw the ball because he threw 20 interceptions last year, right? We're going to hand the ball to Mack and Taylor. That's it.
Right.
It's Mack and Taylor's offense. And Quentin Nelson is leading that charge.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. If we put the game in Rivers' hands, I don't think we win anything. But if we're running the ball like we did last year, even if Mack now is not healthy, Taylor's going to step up and he's going to pound that football down the field.
Right. And with the focus taken off Rivers, I think his numbers drastically improved too. I mean, with the Chargers the past year, obviously they have like Melvin Gordon and stuff, but they have to win through Rivers throwing the ball. And now with us, I think we're a lot more versatile offense. It's definitely going to help him out when he's not the focal point of every play, and they know they can key in on him and lock down those receivers and pick off 20 passes. This is not going to happen with our team.
No, it's not.
What do you think about that, Andy? What do you think about Rivers?
I want him to win a Super Bowl. I agree with every point that's been made here, though. I think we will be able to succeed better with him when we're handing off the ball with a balanced run game or even better run game, because that means Rivers doesn't have to make that potentially game-losing interception pass that I've seen him make time and again on the Chargers.
Right. I agree. And the one thing that concerns me is who was his receivers last year? Was it
Keenan Allen?
Williams? He had Keenan Allen, he had Williams. That was his name, right? I love both of them.
Didn't he have Tyrell Williams too?
Yeah, he had two Williams on the team. The one dude just kept ending up wide open in the end zone. And I don't know what he was doing, but he was just standing back there. He's cherry picking in a basketball game.
Yeah.
But
and Austin Eckler was killing that. They were killing that screen game with Austin Eckler. There was just a lot of dump off passes to Austin Eckler, and he was killing it.
I think Hines could play a similar role too that Eckler did.
Hines has a similar role. I also think with the draft pick of Isaiah Rodgers, I think now Hines is going to take more of an offensive approach. He's going to be more targeted in the offense than he is on special teams now. Because Isaiah Rodgers, I mean, he was a sixth round pick, and
yep,
he was a corner, but he was known in college for special teams, and I think that's where we use him more like a Josh Gibbs or a Devin Hester. I don't think we use him as much at corner. Yeah, he'll be there for depth, but so I do think Hines is going to be used more as a flex, like Ashley said.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Hines in the continue to play like punt return after that Carolina game, though.
Yeah, no kidding.
That Carolina game, I didn't even watch that game. I told Rob yesterday why not, but I was so upset that I missed it. It's like, it was just
you looked at that score, you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, it would have been a good day. I would have drank less, or I would have drank more because I was so excited. But here's the other thing too. It's I kind of want Hines to go to the slot. I think if he's playing receiver, I think we could keep Wilkins if Hines moves to receiver. I like Wilkins. I think Rob likes Wilkins just as much as I do. He's a between the tackles guy. We got Mack who can take it around the corner. Taylor can do both, and then Wilkins is just a change of pace. Hines, he's not running between the tackles. But we use him as an Eckler. So I think we should move Hines to the slot. And I know everyone's been saying it since he's been drafted. So
right. Yeah. And there's not really anybody there that fills that position anyway right now. I mean, our wide receiver core is obviously it's improved, but it's still, not where we like it to be. So might as well try him out there.
It's really only an improved because of Pittman. I mean, we don't know much about the other receivers we've taken, but Pittman, and then we lost Funches. So really it hasn't improved because Pittman is just potential. He's not proven.
Right.
It's like Parise Campbell last year. We all thought that dude was going to take this league by storm, and he spent most of his time injured. And we used him more in a jet sweep style offense or a wide receiver screen type offense. He didn't go downfield. They found ways to get him the ball, but it wasn't the way we needed it.
Right.
My thing is if success comes to us, it's going to be because of failure in the AFC South. And there's really only one team that scares me, and that's the Titans.
Yep.
I fear Deshaun Watson. I'm not afraid of Bill O'Brien, but Deshaun Watson, I will forever fear that guy. I don't care what anybody says. He was not sacked in that game last year. I was happy he was called down. But he is athletic, and he is a good quarterback in my eyes. He scares me.
He's so tough to bring down, too. Like, so many of his highlights are like guys hitting him, and he just rolls off, goes off in the other direction, finds the end zone almost every time. I mean, he's just hard to bring down.
Every time. And the thing is, too, is you remember when Calvin Johnson retired, and everybody said, oh, we're going to see what kind of quarterback Matthew Stafford is, right?
Right.
Because Matthew Stafford always threw to Calvin Johnson. I mean, that was the scheme. He was the biggest player in the NFL at the time. I don't think Matthew Stafford disappointed anyone when it comes to being the quarterback of Detroit. So I think Deshaun Watson, this is his year to prove that he can do it without DeAndre Hopkins, and I think he does. I think he does. So
that's actually a really good comparison. I think they're in completely similar situations.
It is. I'm not big on Will Fuller. I think he's a stud. I like Kiki Kuti too. I like him. But to both of them guys, Kiki Kuti is a guy he's not a star. He's like fourth or fifth guy on their roster at wide receiver or on their depth chart. And Will Fuller's always hurt. So
they got Brandon Cooks now too, though.
Yeah, they do have Brandon Cooks, and that's what scares me. He doesn't have the hands of DeAndre Hopkins, but he is a playmaker. So,
game player.
Yeah. I'm not sleeping on Houston at all. Tennessee just has the most complete roster.
For sure.
And I like Tannehill. I don't think he's elite, and I don't think he's great, but I think he's solid, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's fair. But I don't like
lose them the game.
The Texans could be really good. I might be wrong, but I don't really trust them as much as I normally do. Like last year, I was worried about them, and I was rightfully so. But like this year, I don't really trust them because I think there's too much going on in the front office. I think Bill O'Brien has lost a lot of trust. Definitely Hopkins leaving is going to hurt him. Do we really trust David Johnson like that? You know what I'm saying?
No.
I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. I see them going like 8-8.
So my thing is that there's issues in the front office. Bill O'Brien won't be back. You don't fire the head coach this far into the offseason. It's too late in the game. There's no way you're going to fire him, bring somebody else in, but you don't have a GM at the same time. There's no way. So they're keeping him for this year. But as much as Deshaun Watson and those players have issues with Bill O'Brien, Deshaun Watson's competitive. Those players are competitive, man. I don't think any of those guys are just going to sit down and lose on purpose to get rid of Bill O'Brien. I think Bill O'Brien's gone regardless. Whether they make the playoffs, make the Super Bowl, or just make the AFC Championship. I don't think Bill O'Brien will be back.
I disagree only to the extent that if he goes to the Super Bowl, then he's going to be safe, because that's going to show us that, at least in his mind and probably the mind of the Texans owner, he was right to keep him on.
Hey, you might be right too, and I could see it coming from that way too. That's the problem. I could see it as we're all thinking he's crazy because he got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, right? I wish we were part of that trade and would have gotten him. I love DeAndre Hopkins. He is secretly my favorite wide receiver in the NFL. But he traded him, but he did get two other wide receivers. So he knew that he got rid of his best guy and had to replace him with two guys that are both good receivers. I'm pretty sure they got Randall Cobb and Brandon Cooks, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he got both.
Yeah. I'm not sure how old Randall Cobb is. I feel like he's been in the NFL as long as I've been in the Army. So I'm not sure exactly, but
I think he is pretty long in the tooth.
Yeah, I think he is too. But I think Houston is someone we shouldn't sleep on, whether Bill O'Brien is there or whether that if they say, I don't know. I'm not going to sleep on Houston, and
Right.
I will sleep on Jacksonville by far.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing we can is,
Yeah,
if the Jags win 4 games, it's a success for them, right? Like, I don't think they're a threat to anyone next year.
I don't think they're tanking for Lawrence.
5.
I really don't think they're tanking for Lawrence.
I don't think they're tanking. I think they're just going to lose.
I agree, but I just think when it comes to Jacksonville, man, they like Minshew, and I like Minshew. They don't have any reason to not like Minshew. The dude is a good quarterback. I think he has potential to be good. I think they were forced to start him earlier than they wanted to because of Nick Foles getting injured. And I like Minshew, and I don't like Leonard Fournette as much as I used to. But he
had a good rookie year, and then we never really heard from him again.
Right.
And I also think tanking for Lawrence is a little silly to say at this point of the offseason.
Yeah.
I think Lawrence is going to get replaced by somebody at that number 1 position. That's my statement. Book it now. He's not going to be number 1 next year. He's not. There's too many people in college for you to say tank for Lawrence 2 years in a damn row. There's no way.
That happened. Right.
Yeah,
well, they said the same thing for Tua, and then Burrow came in and stole his spot. So I think you might be right on this one.
And Luck is a different.
And
story.
The Dolphins still got Tua.
Yeah. And Luck was a different story because if it wasn't for Peyton Manning getting neck surgery, I think RG3 would have went first.
Yeah.
I think he would have.
Really?
The argument was that we were nuts for taking Andrew Luck over RG3.
I think if Andrew Luck left college early, then he would have been the first overall pick, and Cam would have went second.
Right. They had talked about that. It was he was always like the number 1 prospect, but it really could have gone either way.
I mean, yeah, but the year we drafted Andrew, we were called crazy because we drafted Andrew over RG3. I remember all that. I remember watching it while I was running on a treadmill in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're nuts for taking him? He's a stud. What do you mean?
If I remember right, I'm pretty sure Peyton Manning had told the Colts, hey, you're crazy if you don't take Andrew Luck. It was because of his word that they ended up taking him.
Their families grew up.
I think they were leaning towards RG3 too.
I think their families grew up together too because Oliver Luck backed up
right.
Opie. So,
Archie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the real threat though, the Titans.
Titans.
Can we win?
I'm afraid of them. I think we can.
I think we'll split.
The thing is the narrative is going to be Rivers and Tannehill on the newsletters, but to us fans, we all know it's going to be Henry against Mack and Taylor. It's got to be. Both offenses are run power. We're based off of how we perform running the football. It's not based on our quarterbacks. It's based on our young defenses that we both have. And I also think it's based on the run game. Herb, I see your comment. Yeah. You're definitely wrong because Henry's only ran all over us once since we've drafted our new defense. I'm not concerned too much. I'm more concerned about their defense than I am Henry.
I'm more concerned about their 2 young wide receivers, Corey Davis and A.J. Brown. Honestly, I think they're about to pop off. Like, I'm really worried about those 2, especially when you got the threat of – I don't expect Henry to have that same season he did last year, but he's still going to run the ball. So, like, there's always – they're going to be able to mix it up a lot. I think it's kind of scary.
And that's it, too. You and I have talked – we both have a secret crush on Tannehill. I think we said it a couple months ago. I like Tannehill. Yeah, I like him. I won't say it when I'm trash talking, but I will say it in an unbiased, intelligent conversation.
Right.
I like Tannehill. I do. And I do like A.J. Brown. I think it was between him and what's his name at Jacksonville, Chark. Last year, them 2 were the best wide receivers in the division. outside of DeAndre Hopkins, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Outside of DeAndre Hopkins, those two were definitely very good wide receivers. So Tennessee is scary. I said it earlier. I think they have the most complete roster in the AFC South, with less questions. We have a good roster, but I think we have too many questions.
Exactly.
When it comes to certain positions, running back, quarterback, wide receiver, safety, right? Julian Blackmon. I like the guy, but it's one of those things where Malik Hooker has an issue with knees, so we draft a guy who has an issue with knees. And I think we just have too many questions.
Trev, you got God in your corner over there?
Yeah, sun came through a little bit. But yeah, as far as Tennessee goes, I mean, I don't think we're going to win in Tennessee. Like, they're going to take their home game, but I think ultimately we end up splitting the series with them.
I agree.
Yeah, me too.
I think we split with Houston too.
Right.
But Deshaun Watson is good, and he's gonna feed off of being at home. So I think we split with both Tennessee and Houston.
I think it's the opposite with Houston, though. Like, we're going to win away, and then they're going to win when we're home.
I agree. We always do.
You know what
we
I mean?
always do. We lose at home to them,
Yeah,
and
we'll
then
see.
away.
Yeah.
Almost
Right.
all the time.
It's
Hey, that's
probably
just
to come down to if we get at Houston TY again.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was about to say, he's the owner of NRG Stadium, so it don't even matter.
All right, so right now, before we get into our schedule breakdown, this is one of our new additions to the show. We are going to do trivia night. This is going to be on Andy.
Yes.
Andy has 3 questions of trivia. I believe the way we're going to do it is the person who gets all 3 questions correct the fastest, for those who are watching, will get $20 break credit to go ahead and get a spot over in DNR Breaks to have a chance to win a whatever kind of memorabilia you want, whether it's a baseball jersey, hockey jersey, basketball jersey, mini helmet, full-size football or football jersey, college, pro. DNR is awesome. I love them. Me and Matt Myers have a pretty good relationship. So we're going to go ahead and give it over to Andy to go ahead and ask these trivia questions. So those who are watching, you all have a chance to win some cool stuff. Go ahead, Andy.
All right. So we're gonna go on a little history trip today, ladies and gentlemen. First question: the Colts have the best all-time record against which team, and what's that record? All-time meaning Baltimore, even going back to the Baltimore era, and also meaning percentage-wise. Like, what is their best win percentage? So that's the first question. The second question is the same, except which team do we have the worst all-time record / percentage against? What is that record? The third question is a little bit simpler. What is the Colts' all-time largest margin of victory, and who was it against?
That was the only one I really had to look up, and it was funny of where I found it. It was another trivia type page. I was like, oh my God, man. And I had to keep scrolling down to look, and I had to click every answer to find out which one was correct.
Hey, I'm glad we got you staying.
See, I was able to. I was able to find a site that has everything, all scores for all games ever played, essentially.
Man, it's nuts, man. Julian Blackmon. While we're waiting on these answers, let's talk about Julian Blackmon. And this Malik Hooker. I think we're overthinking the Malik Hooker 5th-year option. I think everyone's saying, we're not taking his 5th-year option because he's injury prone. I don't know if he's realistically injury prone. He was injured once. He has torn ACL and then came back.
Right.
Yeah, but he's missed a few games off and on, it feels like, since then.
He has, but how often do the Colts actually take a player's fifth-year option? I can't remember the last time we had.
Andrew Luck.
Yeah, you got.
I'm pretty sure. Did we even take his fifth-year option, or did we just give him a contract?
I remember we took the 5th-year option because
Okay, I don't.
It was the 5th year. Yeah.
Right.
that was one I remember distinctly.
Yeah,
Now, we
it was.
worked out a contract extension after doing so, but we did pick up the option.
So Damon says
I don't know, Damon, you tell me.
the
And you need
Steelers.
to know the record for that one as well.
You need to know the
Oh,
record, and who it's against. $56 points. And now he's at 56 points, but he ain't saying against you. What's he doing, Damon?
Together, bro.
So Hooker's 5th-year option. I'm not really a big fan of not picking it up because I know it's expensive because he was a 15th overall pick, if I remember correctly. So obviously it's going to be an expensive option. I was thinking why it kind of makes sense to forego the 5th-year option and re-sign him to like a 2-year deal. You know, it probably work out maybe even cheaper than the 5th-year option. It's probably an expensive 5th-year option. And what I don't like about it is if we want to let us see like how the season plays out, he's going to be unrestricted now. So somebody's going to pay that kind of a talent big money, and we're probably going to lose. I don't see us like matching that kind of contract that he's probably going to command. So I don't like the fact that he's unrestricted.
Right, and it's a weird narrative they've made about Hooker too. Because if we're getting rid of him because he's injury prone, why would we bring in a guy that is coming off of an ACL tear to replace him? Like that narrative doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think that's what we're doing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think about?
So far, Damon has got 2 and 3 correct, but he hasn't gotten 1 yet, if I believe.
Yes.
So I'm going to put up number 1 here in the ticker. He's definitely gotten 2 and 3 correct, but we're still waiting on number 1. If anybody can answer these questions, Andy, go ahead and say the questions again for some people who are just joining. Maybe they can beat out Damon before he figures out that first one.
Well, so first I want to say Damon did nail number 3, but he's only gotten one part of number 2 right. But I'll go over the questions again. Number 1, against which team do the Colts have the best all-time record? What is that record? Number 2, against which team do the Colts have the worst all-time record, and what is that record? And what is the largest margin of victory the Colts have all time, and against which team? Those are the questions.
So this video I thought was fun. I figured, while we're doing trivia, why not have all the best plays from our number 1 picks? So I thought this video was gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, good times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh man, I miss those days. Back in the early 2000s. Man, I remember as a kid, my family was all Eagles, and then I just watched the Colts, man, and just fell in love, man. And it's crazy. And when I first started liking them too, we sucked. We were horrible. Man, mid-90s.
That's the mark of a loyal fan right there.
Yeah. And here we are. We went to 2 Super Bowls and won 1 since I've been a fan of Colts, and it's been great, Dallas Clark right there is one of my favorite players to ever play for us. I love that guy.
Yeah, he doesn't get the mentions he deserves too.
And Reggie Wayne, man, if it wasn't for Reggie Wayne, oh, he doesn't, man. He definitely doesn't. And what I like is that when he retired, he came back to us to retire. He signed as a Colt to retire. So it was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure he went to play at Baltimore for a little while.
Dallas?
I remember
Reggie
Reggie signed.
Yeah.
I remember Reggie had signed with the Patriots, and it made me so sick to my stomach. I don't think he ever played for him, but he had signed with them for a short time.
He didn't.
Yeah, he was there for like
preseason.
1 or 2 weeks of the preseason, and then he mutually parted ways with them which I kind of liked. I
That's
did
what
not
they said.
appreciate
He probably got
everybody
cut.
who turned their back on him after that, because I was like,
Oh, I still love the guy.
he wants to keep playing. If they're the only ones who take him, you can't blame him. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So Damon,
All right. So
our record against that
there you
team
go.
is very good, but it's not the best record. Think percentage of wins. How many? Like, what's the highest percentage victory rate against any particular team that we've ever played?
Patriots, book it.
Maybe one day.
You remember?
Got a lot of catching up to do.
Y'all remember the Super Bowl? Y'all remember the Super Bowl with the Saints?
Oh yeah, man. I had just moved to Louisiana.
2009.
When my God, I was so upset. So I remember being at my sister's house. My sister and her boyfriend's house, or husband or ex-husband, forget what he is now. I remember being there watching that game. Dude, I was so mad. I was drinking Coors Light. Dude, I don't even drink Coors Light. That shit's disgusting. I think I was like 19. I was so mad when they went for that onside kick at halftime, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, what is happening? And then Peyton Manning, I think this was the moment that I really was angry at him, called an audible and threw the same screen, or not screen, slant that he was known for throwing to Reggie Wayne, and it was a pick six. Bro, I was so mad.
Jabari Greer.
That game.
I had just moved all the way down South Louisiana, about as far down as you could go. And my school had like a jersey day or whatever, like show up to school in your football jerseys. Obviously, everybody there in a Saints jersey. My little dumbass, I walk in, Peyton Manning jersey, baby, let's go. I don't know how I didn't get jumped, but it was interesting.
That's what's up.
Man, I remember, you remember back in the day, like, as soon as the Super Bowl was over, people would go on Madden and play online. And everybody was playing as the Saints that night. I was so bad. I was like, I don't even want to play. Y'all making me mad. Y'all just want to keep playing as the Saints. And for some reason, it like upgraded to where they were the best goddamn team in the game that night. I was like, man, screw this. I was so mad. Dude, I couldn't
like they won
stand
the Super Bowl or something.
But people do that every year. They're like, oh, I'm gonna play as Kansas City, because they're the best team in the NFL.
Obviously, I'm a
To
coach.
be fair, I could see people playing as Kansas City before they won the Super Bowl, because playing Madden, playing as Mahomes, are you kidding? I want to do that.
It's actually kind of fun. Every time I play Kansas City in Madden, it's a shootout. There's no doubt about it. I can't stop them. I can't figure it out, but I can keep up offensively. It's
like 56 points.
Man, they're too good. Yeah, exactly. Oh, hold up.
Check this out. Let's talk. Oh shit. Let's talk about the schedule. Let's talk about the schedule real quick. Oh no, you want to do something else?
I think we're about to finish this trivia. Rob or Andy, you see this?
Yeah, I see Herbert Heston. He got all the questions right, but I kind of want to give it to Damon too, because he got everything right too. It seems like.
Well, who got it done first? That's the question.
But
Damon, I think, has had it for a minute.
It's up to you, Andy. This is your game. You call the winner.
I think I got to give it to Damon. I'm sorry, Herbert. Maybe next week.
Hey, so shouts out to
right.
Good job.
Damon is our official first trivia winner. Damon, since you message me all the time anyway, I will hook you up with getting into DNR, and I will let Matt Myers know that you are the break credit winner. All right.
Ooh, Ashley says give it to both.
Damon.
But do we only
give it
one credit? Ashley says that. If we can, I'm down.
Herb, I'll text you. All right. Herb, I'll text you.
All
right. That's pretty good because he's not even a Colts fan. he's an Eagles fan, so
Yeah,
you gotta
you
give him credit. I mean, and he was on our show last week, so and he gave percentages. So we can't be mad.
Yeah,
All right.
that's a good point.
Yep. All right. So Rob wants to talk the schedule. So we have 2 winners tonight. All right. So Herb and Andy, I'll get with you guys after this. All right.
Urban who now?
I was drinking Coors Light. Damon, you're about to lose your win prize. Coors Light, bro. It wasn't my beer. It wasn't my house. That's all what you need. Boy.
Oh my gosh.
You know what?
That's a
It's
good
going to Herb.
That's quotable.
It's going to Herb. No, just because Damon was trying to call me
It's
out.
going to hurt.
It's going to Herb. All right, so we're going to talk the schedule. All right. I'm about to bring it up right here. Here we go. Let's talk schedule. Rob, you get to start.
All right. So, like, I think our schedule is very favorable because, I mean, we have some hard teams. I think the NFC North is where we're going to run into a lot of our trouble this year. But it's really a lot of our tougher games, I feel, are going to be in the second half of the season. And by then, we're with our running team, as long as, I hate, me and Matt both hate when we say if they're healthy. But I think that we're going to be more of one of those teams that develops our chemistry later in the season, especially with a quarterback like Rivers. I think it'll take a little bit of time, but I like our schedule a lot more than I like the Texans schedule. They have like hard matchup after hard matchup right away. Like first week they're going into Arrowhead. Next week they're playing the Ravens. Next week they're playing the Steelers, then the Vikings. Like they're.
You said they have KC, Baltimore, Steelers, and then
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Texans.
Yeah, and then they get a break with the Jags.
Texans 1 and 3.
They have Packers
start the season, and I'm booking the only win they get in the first 4 games is against Steelers.
And even that's not easy out.
That's not an easy out, but I mean,
it's in Heinz Field.
If Steelers are starting Big Ben, he's old, man. Old news. I'm not too worried about Big Ben at this point in his career.
No, I am. He's still got it. I think he's still got it, man.
Hey, I'll say
he could think.
After missing most of last year, I don't think he has anything left.
I don't know.
Retirement for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they almost made the playoffs last year with nobody's at quarterback, and now they're getting Ben back. Yeah, he's old, but I mean, he's still Ben.
If he plays at a decent level,
Rivers, Ben is still Ben. You know what I mean? If Rivers is still Rivers, Ben is still Ben. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna. I want to say I think Deshaun Watson can pull that game out. I think they go 1 and 3. KC, they scare the living hell out of me. I don't care who you are. I also think Minnesota has a pretty good roster, and Kirk. It depends on what Kirk Cousins you get in the beginning of the season, because Kirk Cousins you can either get on fire or you can get he's dumpster fire to start the season. It's just one of the two you get, And last year he started off very slow. I had him on fantasy. I hated it. Hated him. I was like, oh, he's gonna do great. He's got Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, and then he started off the beginning of the season getting me goddamn 10 points a game on fantasy. So I wasn't happy, so I benched him, and then he starts going off. I'm like, all right, you know what? It just depends on who benches him in fantasy. So Vikings to me are scary. I know they lost Stephon Diggs. I don't know if Houston. It depends.
Jefferson.
Where's Houston playing Minnesota?
Houston.
Yeah, it's in NGR. Yeah, it's at home. That could be a win for them.
I don't know how much that affects Minnesota though, because they play inside too. So, it's gonna be that's gonna be one hell of a game to watch. I think that could go either way. Steelers, I really want to book it for Houston, and then they have Baltimore, and Baltimore, I think, they have the most a very complete roster. I think.
They're gonna win it early in the season,
Yeah. Barring any injuries, they're winning that division, and they're going to be in the AFC Championship, I think.
I think we
Then you
benefit.
got to go to Heinz.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. There like the more I look at the schedule, the worse it is because like after the Vikings game, they get a quick break with the Jaguars, but then they go right back to playing Tennessee away, and then they played the Packers right after that. Like I could easily see these guys only winning like maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3. Like it's really looking bad. Like,
I don't think I trust them to do what Frank Reich did back in 2018. Start out 1-5 and then
go off. Yeah.
And then go off.
That was their line.
I mean, they did something similar in 2018, but I think that spoke more to the general weakness of the schedule where they won like 9 straight.
I agree.
Because the Colts started that win streak when we were on our downswing, and then once we had gotten going, we came back and ended that win streak, and I was very proud of that. I thought that was poetic.
Fun fact, that year I looked at a buddy of mine. He someone I work with, he's a Raiders fan, and I looked at him and I said, look, I forget which week it was. I think it was
we played the Raiders?
When we started our win streak. The week we started our win streak.
Yeah.
It was
I remember
against the Bills.
I think it was, and we dominated them. And I said to him, if we win out, we're going to win out from here. Before we even played the Bills, I said, we're going to beat the Bills, and we're going to win out from here. It was a big joke. I was like, you know what? We got it, Unfortunately, we lost against Jags, but that was the only game I was wrong. I was like, man.
When we did lose against the Jags, towards the end, he was like out of bounds, and they weren't sure if they should stop the clock or not, so they just ran it off. I remember being super pissed about that.
I was too, man.
Honestly, I don't think it mattered.
Right.
That Dolphins game hurt my feelings too. We should have won that shit. They only won 2 games last season. Like up to that point, like weren't we the first team they beat all season?
No, we were like the second.
The second team. Yeah.
They played the Jets once before us, and the Jets are the Jets.
All right, so we got off topic. Our schedule.
Yeah, we did.
We were way off topic. We're talking 2 years ago. Our schedule. I think week 1 it can go either way. We have an issue playing in Jacksonville. But I'm also not
have an issue playing week 1, so
we do.
That's 2 counts against us in that one.
Right, and for some reason I'm just not afraid of Jacksonville so much. So I want to book that one as a win. I think Jacksonville actually might beat us at home in week 17.
I can't see that after the way the last 2 seasons have gone when we played Jacksonville at home. We made some statements in those games, and then we made other statements in the games in Jacksonville. So I think the home team wins both of those matchups. But I'd like to be proven wrong by us sweeping the Jags, but that's my 2 cents.
I think if we're going to sweep anybody, it'll be the Jags. We're not sweeping the Titans or the Texans, I don't think, but Jags, we have the best chance.
Fair enough. The Vikings game, I actually think we should win that one. And I'm totally biased because I'm trying to go to that game go to my first ever home opener.
Yeah, with us being home, I think we can win that game, but it's not going to be easy at all. I'm not sleeping on the NFC North at all. I think that division is a well-rounded division. I think each team is pretty good at what they do. I think Detroit had a pretty good offseason. And I think obviously Packers are usually the favorites for the NFC North. The Bears have one hell of a defense, but I think that Vikings game can go either way. And I think by week 2, we're 1-1, whether we beat Jacksonville or we lose against Vikings, or vice versa.
We better be 2-1 after that because we play the Jets. Even though we seem to struggle against the Jets for whatever reason, they just take it to us. It feels like I don't like it. We need to beat the freaking Jets.
Yeah, I feel like you can book that one. I know we struggled with them in the past, but I don't know. It feels like we're a team on the up and up, and they're just kind of stagnant right now. And I don't know. I think that should be an easy win. Not easy, but we should take that.
We cannot lose to Adam Gase. Dude, I think is a train wreck. We talk about Bill O'Brien, but I think Adam Gase is worse.
Yeah, he's kind of a tool.
I think like even no matter what our record is, like to be taken seriously, like obviously we're not being taken seriously. Look at the primetime games. We only got one and we're away. We're not being taken seriously. I think to be taken seriously, we need to either win that Packers game or we need to sweep the Titans. If we do one of those two things, like I think then we'll start being taken seriously. Other than that, like we just need to make the playoffs. There's no way around that. We need to make the playoffs this year. There's no excuse not to.
I agree on your point about the Titans. I think maybe instead of the Packers, in order to be taken seriously, we need to have a statement win against the Ravens.
That'd be huge for us. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Both would be great.
I honestly, I think if we're gonna make a statement early, it's gonna have to be against Minnesota, man. It's gonna have to be. Look, I get it. It's week 2. It's early in the season, but we're talking about making statements at week 11, week 9. That's too late in the game to be making statements.
Right. Great point.
We need to be feared by week 9 or week 11.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and Frank Reich's not going to have us focusing on those tougher games later down the line. He's got that 1-0 mantra that we all love. I love it anyway.
Exactly, and I think Frank makes a statement in the first month. Whether Philip Rivers is healthy or if it's Jacoby Brissett, somehow we are making a statement in that first month. Because Frank, we talked about earlier in the week, I think he's on the hot seat. Not this year, but the next couple years, he's definitely on the hot seat. Someone said to me earlier that the reason he hasn't won as many games as a head coach is because Andrew Luck retired 2 weeks before the season. And that's fine. I get that. And he rallied a team that was led by Andrew Luck to a 7-9 season, which to me was pretty good for only having a 2-week notice of who your starting quarterback was going to be by week 1.
He doesn't have that excuse this year, though.
Yeah, a lot of those games were close too.
Go ahead, Trev.
I was just saying, a lot of those games were like within a score or two that we should have been able to take. And, for one reason or another, we just didn't. But it's not like we were a 7-win team, but we had the potential to be like a 10-win team if just a couple more things go right for us,
Yeah. And then there was that Saints game where
we were just
dead.
I want to agree with Matt right now about Frank Reich being on the hot seat because you got to figure that Rivers signing was a lot to, I'm sure Ballard listened to Reich on that one. If Reich didn't want a 38-year-old quarterback, you got to figure that Reich was a huge factor in that decision. So if you're making those kind of decisions and you're not going to win, then it's time to move on. It's winner move on type of league. So I think Reich might be on the hot seat.
The history between Frank and Rivers is drastic. I think if I don't remember correctly, Rivers had some of the best seasons he's had with Frank as his offensive coordinator. And he's also worked with Nick Sirianni. So he's got 2 coaches that he's worked with in the past. There's no way that if we don't win this season, man, and I love Frank. I don't want you to know. I think next season would be his big hot seat. Right. Not this season, but next season he's definitely on the hot seat if we don't win. If we make the playoffs, because there's no way in my eyes that we kept Pagano for 5 years and then we're only going to give Frank Reich for 4 seasons. There's no way. Frank Reich is obviously the better coach than Chuck Pagano. Chuck Pagano is a good defensive coordinator. Head coach, he's not so much. But yeah, next year I think Frank is on the hot seat, big time.
Now speaking of Chuck, we go week 4. We go week 4 and go play his Bears over in their house. I actually think this will be a big win for us, man. They got a tough defense, but I don't know. I think their offense is just stagnant. I feel like we can pick them apart, honestly. Look for that to be a big win, in my opinion.
I think it depends on who's starting at quarterback. I mean, didn't they just sign Nick Foles or somebody? They signed Nick Foles,
right? They got.
And then they got.
Here's my thing. We talk about how good their defense is. I don't really see that anymore. I think the Vikings have a better defense at this point. The Bears had a good defense 2 years ago. They did not impress me last year
Right.
with that defense. They impressed me early on by only allowing one touchdown to Aaron Rodgers, but it doesn't matter.
I think they make a big leap forward this year. We're at Soldier Field in that game. You got to take that into consideration. It's never an easy environment. They have very loyal fans. It's going to be very loud, and they are a good defense. They didn't have a good year last year, but I expect them to bounce back, and I expect their run game to be a lot better than it was last year too.
I think
I'll get that one too. Hopefully,
I still think it depends on their quarterback, man. Trubisky is not the answer in Chicago.
So,
He's not.
do you think, Matt?
Well, after our game against Foles last year, I'm not afraid of him either.
No, me either. What were you saying, Trev?
Yeah,
sorry. Who do you think is the bigger threat there at quarterback? Because you're saying it depends who's starting. Who is the bigger threat against us? You have as Foles?
Yeah. I think
Yes.
Foles is the bigger threat, man. He's got more experience. Trubisky, man, that dude's feet are like, oh, God, I don't want to curse. He's got bricks as feet, man. The dude doesn't know how to move his feet. The dude's his mechanics are all off. His feet don't move. The dude is just God. And like the other Herb, we got two Herbs in here today.
I see.
The Bears are underachieved, but it's because of Trubisky. I think Foles is the more threatening quarterback in Chicago. I'm not afraid of a guy who played one season in college and became a top draft pick because the Bears are nuts.
I think it's good news for us too. If Trubisky's still playing, I don't think they switch out their quarterbacks as early as week 4. If he struggles bad like we all expect him to, maybe by like week 6, 7, 8, they start to look at making a change. But I don't think they're going to give up on him that early.
No, I think Trubisky's done, man. I think it's Nick Foles' offense at this point. I think it is.
Hopefully it comes out flat against us.
Yeah, they're throwing a Hail Mary, man. I think that's what they're doing. They're throwing a Hail Mary right now with Nick Foles. I think they're going to try to mimic what Philly did with Nick Foles. And if they do that, that's great, and they're going to be successful. But I do think we go into Soldier Field and we beat the Bears.
I hope so, because I'm trying to go to that one as well.
I think the harder game is actually week 5 at Cleveland. I feel like they're going to say it every year, and they always disappoint. But I really feel like they could potentially be a sleeper this year, and that should be tough.
I don't, man. The only player on that team that scares me is Jarvis Landry.
Really?
That's it. Jarvis Landry. I like him. I liked him in Miami. I like him in Cleveland. I don't. Odell Beckham. The dude is a prima donna. I mean, the dude should have stayed in New York.
Guys, I don't mean to interrupt this riveting conversation, but we are at our hour mark, so we should probably speed it up just a little bit.
Yep. That's cool. I mean, we're doing schedule, so we got to get all right. So Browns, I'm taking a win in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think it'd be a close win, but it'll be a win.
Yeah. Damon says Nick Chubb. I got one response, Buckner.
Yeah.
I got 2 responses, Buckner, Leonard.
Buckner. That's
response.
Yeah. Okay, so Bengals. That's a W. I'm sorry. Burrow is rookie. It depends on the health of AJ Green, I think. Yeah, and it also depends on the health of AJ Green. AJ Green is obviously shows how that offense performs, I think.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
Detroit.
I'm going to do what Quentin Nelson did. Sup.
Detroit scares me.
That's a trap game. Yeah, that's a trap game right there.
A trap game.
Really?
It is. But right now it's a trap game. By week 6, it could be one scary hell of a game.
I don't like that game.
They had a good – no, me either. And they had a good draft. They had a good offseason. And I think Detroit is one of the most underrated teams going into 2020.
Yeah.
Detroit, I think, is that game that we look at on the schedule and I just cross it off and don't want to watch that game. I don't. I'm scared of it. That on the board scares me.
I'm actually surprised to hear this. I had that game as like week 16 with the Steelers. I mean, I haven't paid much attention to the Lions, granted, but I felt like that should be a win. But I mean, they did have a really good draft. That is true.
That's the problem. It seems too easy, man. It seems too easy, but I don't think it is going to be that easy.
I will
Especially at
agree
home.
with you. I will agree with you that it's a trap game. In any other sense, I don't think I'd take the Lions. But trap games exist, so
Yeah,
I can't rule them out.
Ravens.
to drop a couple.
Yeah. Ravens. I think we take an L here, even at home.
Yeah.
I
The
That's a
first
full-on
time the
loss.
Ravens win in Lucas Oil, I think.
Yeah, I take an L in against the Ravens in Week 9. Week 10, Tennessee. I
got a
think we
loss.
lose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got a
I think
loss.
we lose at Tennessee. I think we do.
It's a short week for us, so yeah.
So that's
Way.
a tough
Yeah.
match there.
I mean, it's a short week for them, but they get to go home on prime time. So
Right. Week 11, Green Bay can go either way. I'm gonna take a W for us because I don't know what's going on there with Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a little early, so this is early predictions, but I think we'll come back to this later in the offseason. I just think right now with the questions up in the air, I think we could take that one.
What I say about Green Bay too, if you look back at the NFC Championship game, they gave up a ridiculous amount of rush yards, like uncontested, before they even made contact. I think we could have a similar game. And they really didn't do much to improve their defense, at least that I've seen. I feel like between Mack and Taylor, we should be able to run through them.
Agreed, 100%.
We shall
Tennessee, I
see.
think we take it home.
yeah, we
I
split
think
with
we take that one
Tennessee, in my opinion.
Again with Week
Agreed.
13, I think we do. I think we do win in Houston.
Agreed.
We seem to win in Houston more than we beat Houston at home. So
Right.
In Vegas,
I
about
see us
that?
losing that one.
Brood and Grinders.
I think we beat them in Vegas. I think we do.
We lost to them last year. I mean,
Yeah, we beat them
Right, but
on
it's
the
a different.
road the year before.
Yeah, we beat them the year before. So
I
it
think
could
they're on the
go either
rise.
way.
I
Yeah,
think they're
go
on
either
the
way.
rise, but I don't think they beat us.
I think the Raiders and the Colts are kind of almost the same type of team. We have questions in too many areas, but we show up when least expected. So I think that game could really go either way. For me, I kind of want to take a win in that game because I think
got your answer for you right here. It's going to be a tie.
Oh
Petition.
my God.
Yeah, I had
Right doesn't like ties. You know that he'd rather take the loss than take a tie, so that's not happening.
I
Doesn't
had
matter to him if the Raiders have the ball at the end.
right.
I just think we win that game because I think the next week we're gonna lose. I think we lose against Houston at home. We've had that issue a few times where Houston beats us in Indy, but we beat them in Houston. So I think there's a possibility that we take it in Vegas and we lose at home.
I think that we can go 5-1, and I think we can go 5. I think that we can sweep Houston. I believe that we can sweep Houston this year. I'm being optimistic.
It's
I do
really
too,
depends
but,
on what Deshaun Watson you get.
Yeah. I
don't think we have two different Deshaun Watsons though. I think we have what kind of wide receiving core we get because we're gonna get the same Deshaun Watson every game.
Yeah.
I'll say it depends what passing you get. It probably makes more sense. But
Right.
yeah,
What receivers are healthy at that point? Deshaun Watson, you're gonna get the same guy every week. He's athletic. He's gonna find a way to put the ball down the field, whether it's throwing or he uses his legs. He's gonna find a way. I think it just depends on who's healthy that he can throw to be honest. So, but I think I don't know. I think we can go 5-1. I agree with Rob in our division, but I also think that we could really screw it up badly too.
Yeah.
Especially at
We'll
home.
see. Week
And it also
16, we're going
depends.
to lose.
This is my favorite game of the year. I think we could win this one this year. We never win there. I think we can. This is my favorite game. I can't wait for this one.
Man,
I admire your optimism. I believe we're going to lose that game.
I think we're going to lose that game too.
I saw.
Yeah, I'm being optimistic.
I don't get my hopes up. I see Pittsburgh. I see L. That's it. That's just.
I want that game
in our history as Colts fans, man.
Yeah,
we're gonna. I'm resigned to it. We take that L, keep it moving. Beat the Jags the next week.
Fair enough.
Hope we go playoffs.
So ultimately, what are we looking at here? Probably like 10-6, 11-5, or where are you guys feeling?
I'm thinking 10-6. I'm thinking 10-6. I'm thinking 8-8 as our low. I'm thinking 11-5 as our high. As of now.
Yeah, I got 9. I got either 9 or 10 wins. Anything above would be impressive. Anything below would be a failure. I got 9 or 10 wins. I mean, it's either 9 or 10.
Well, nine wins could be enough now, because I think this is the year they're starting the 17 playoff schedule.
No, it's the next year actually. I believe it's not like this season. The following one.
I think they actually said this year it is 7 teams per conference in the playoffs. I think next year is when they do the 17-game seasons.
Right.
We need next year. Yeah, we need playoffs this year though. Like I'm really worried. Yeah. Like Chris, my biggest worry is that Chris Ballard's contract is up after next season, after the 2021 season. So like is he going to want to stay? I mean, are we going to be able to keep that guy if we don't make the playoffs? Right. And then Frank Reich too, like Matt said, is he on the hot seat next year? You know, their contracts are tied together. Their contracts are both up after the 2021 season. I think we need playoffs right now.
Yeah,
and we have a good shot. The Titans are good, but so are we.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people actually looking at the schedule like maybe not a cakewalk, but I see like 12 wins, 13 win predictions. I don't know if we're quite there. It's actually like upon further looking, there's a couple tough breaks. We're talking about, weeks 8 through 12 or 13 that are pretty tough. You got a couple trap games with, Detroit, Raiders, Steelers. Like those are all games, or even Cleveland, that we could potentially lose. It could be a pretty tough season, but I see us ultimately coming out with like 10, 11 wins.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just came back and I heard what you said, but it's one of those things where fans are saying they want us to win 13, 14 games, but they also want to hate on who we have at quarterback. Right. I don't expect how you're going to sit here and say we're going to go 13-3, but you hate us having Rivers. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that's one of those reasons I want to see Rivers tear it up on the field, go to the Super Bowl, win it, and be like, I'm out. Bye.
And I wouldn't mind that at all. But and then we're back to the beginning of the show where I'm like, well, what about our future? Rivers is left. Well, are we re-signing Jacoby, or now do we have to draft a backup? But
then we're thinking about our future. We're worried about our future with a ring. So
hey, not a bad place to be.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
I think the Colts. Go ahead, Matt.
No, go ahead, man. You're good.
I think the Colts are in a very interesting position in that we're in, like we've talked about, we're in this win now mode, but also look at like the age of our roster, the age of our defensive guys, and all these young guys we got. We're in win now mode while still having so much security and potential for the future without having to make like any huge drastic moves. We're in a really good spot with that.
Yeah, we're only really in win now mode at the quarterback position, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that, Andy.
Yeah, me too. Definitely.
And I want to win for Rivers.
Hey, I'm about it.
Yeah, I really have mixed feelings about our success this year. I want, obviously, as a Colts fan, I want to win. I want to go ahead and say I'm going 16-0. Like that's. I want to be that biased fan that says that, but there's no way I can.
That's a cursed record. There's only one team that's ever gone 16-0, and they lost the Super Bowl.
Right, and realistically, I don't see it happening. But a small part of me, wants to say, no, I'd rather lose. more than win, mainly because I want to set us up for the future. But don't take it as boy, I want to win. I want to win every day. But it's like 90% of me wants to win and go to the Super Bowl with Rivers. 10% of me wants to have the Rivers project fail.
Nope,
That's
100%.
I'm with Andy. I don't know. I want that shit to fucking succeed. I hate it, but I want it to succeed. I mean, we have the run game, we have the O line, we have the defense. Like, we're ready to go with the right quarterback.
If Rivers takes us all the way and then walks off in the sunset, I'm buying his jersey.
I get where you're coming from, though, and the fact that it doesn't give us long-term security, which is important. But hopefully that's what we have in Eason there.
I just think the Rivers signing doesn't ever fit what Chris Ballard wants, man. It's like he's always talking about youth and being young, and he goes and signs a 38-year-old quarterback.
Head scratcher for sure.
It's way out of what he does.
I think it's a matter of he was looking at the real college talent that was out there, and he's like, I mean, except for Eason. Eason is somebody who could develop, and if he takes a year to do that, we need somebody to cover that year, and I think that's where Rivers comes in. I know that doesn't leave much of a spot for Brissett, but
even if Eason grows into a solid quarter QB2, or we develop him and then trade him later, like, I think that makes the 4th round pick worth it. The 4th round pick, that's the area you want to take those project guys with the physical talent that you can possibly teach and make these guys legit NFL players. I think it was a great slot for us to grab a guy with his tools, but we'll see.
I mean, I feel like
I showed you yesterday what I was with Eason on Madden.
Yeah. I feel like getting Rivers was largely influenced by Reich and Sirianni, having worked with him in the past. That's probably a huge reason for it. And the fact that he's just available. I mean, Ballard probably felt pressured like, hey, we got to go ahead and get this guy while we can.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think because of that chemistry, I'm not going to dog him the same way, because if he recognizes a system, and if he was good in that system, who's to say he can't be good in it again, even though he's older and had a bad year last year? Maybe he had a bad year because that system wasn't working.
I hate the system talk. I think I hate the system talk as much as I hate the injury talk, and it's mainly because coaches are going to build around who they have. I'm not a big fan of saying. Like, as a defensive coach, I don't like to say, look, I'm going to run a 4-3 or a 3-3-5 or a 3-5-3, right? I'm not going to say that. It's my favorite defense. But I'm not going to start the season and say, look, I'm going to run this defense no matter what, right? It's not going to happen, because if you don't have the personnel to run that scheme, you're not going to run that scheme. And if I'm thinking that as a peewee or a semi-pro coach, I can guarantee you that NFL coaches are thinking the same way. And that's where Pagano failed. Pagano switched to a 3-4, which took out most of our strengths on our defensive side of the ball from who we already had. You can't do that. And I think if you do that as a professional football coach, you need to be fired in a heartbeat. You're an idiot. Your scheme is by who you had. And if you're starting from scratch like Chris Ballard has built a system, not necessarily a system, but a team. And this team can really fit Frank Wright's system of run first. And that's why the Rivers signing, I don't think I think it's going to be successful, because it's going to lean towards Mac and Taylor, and Chris Ballard has shown that, Frank has shown that. But outside of the system thing, like the Tom Brady is only successful in New England because of a system quarterback. No, that's BS, man. He's successful because Belichick recognized his talents and what he's able to do. So he did it, and he stuck with it. And that's why Tom Brady was so successful. Not because he fit Belichick's system. No, Belichick fit Brady. That's just my opinion on it. As experience of coaching, I'm gonna fit the scheme of who I have, not off of what I know. If I only know one system, you shouldn't be coaching.
Right.
All right. Well, I think that is all the time we have for today.
Yep, that is
Let's wrap
true.
it up, boys.
Oh, all right,
Wrapping it
guys.
up.
So next week we'll be back at it. Probably another trivia. We'll see.
I'll have
I
to come up
appreciate
with some
everybody
good ones
coming out.
next time.
Everybody, if you guys come out and watch, make sure you guys drop comments. We try to be as interactive as possible. A lot of us get into our thoughts, so we see your comments. We try to bring them up. We try to talk to you about what you thought, and your thoughts are just as important to us as our thoughts. We're not professionals at this at all. We just do this for fun, so we want to be as interactive with you guys as possible. So
Getting better though.
yeah,
Absolutely.
continue to follow. Come on out next week. We will continue to interact with everyone in here. All right, and we appreciate everybody coming in and watching. It's fun. I love doing this. I look forward to Saturday. As soon as I end this, I'll be waiting until next Saturday. Like how the fourth quarter ends on Sunday. I can't wait till the next Sunday. It's just like this with this. I love talking to you guys. You guys are the best, and I can't express any more on how much it means to me that you guys came on with me to do this.
Sure, man.
Like
I'm
me and Trevor,
appreciate you, man.
it's hard to do this alone. So to have you guys here with me, man, it's awesome. And I can talk Colts football all day. That's why we go 20 minutes past our time limit. So I'm really
Stick around for the outro, though, guys. We got a new outro.
We definitely have a new outro.
Yes.
I've been working hard on some of these videos. I harass these guys all day. Like, yo, check this out. You guys like this? I do it every day. So
He's not lying either. He really did harass the crap out of us.
yeah, if there's any way that you guys, that the viewers think we can improve, leave it in a comment. All right? Tell us what you think we can do to improve.
Let us know.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We definitely will do it. If you want us to talk different divisions, you want us to talk different teams. Obviously, our expertise is in Indianapolis, but we are definitely down with talking other teams, bringing in guests, doing trivia, having some fun. If you aren't drinking with us, there's something wrong. But it's a Saturday night. I like to drink, so it's my quarantine juice. It's what I like to call it.
There you go.
COVID-19 messed up. They made me an alcoholic, but
Maybe a Corona.
Hey, to all the viewers too, let us know if you want to come on. We love having guests come on and talk with us. So just shoot us a comment or a message or whatever. We'll make sure to get you on here.
That's true. Also, we definitely brought on Damon twice. Andy actually started as a guest, and we decided to keep Andy. And we brought on my brother, who's an Eagles fan, last week. So if you didn't see that show, go ahead and go on For the Shoe and watch that show. We talked the NFC East. So we'll talk another division coming up probably in a few weeks. We'll make that decision coming up soon. Damon is in a lot of trouble sitting over here talking about Coors Light in his damn comments, man. I hate Coors Light, dude. Get out of here, bro.
Stick around for Coors Light jokes, baby.
Hey, one more thing though. Happy birthday to Damon. Happy birthday to that.
Happy birthday.
Yep.
His birthday was yesterday, so I hope everybody said happy birthday to him. But all right, everybody. So check out this new outro. The intro was also brand new. So hey, man, hope to see everybody back next week.
See you guys next week.
Go Colts.
Go Colts.
Oh, my bad. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get it up. Hold on. I messed it up. Jesus, man. Hey, someone talk. This is embarrassing. I hit the wrong thing. Hold on. I had to do it again. Jesus, this is too complicated.
You got it, Matt. We believe in you.
I know. All right, here we go. All right, we're good. It's coming up. All right, everybody. See you all next week. Oh no, it's not playing music again. I haven't muted.
Touchdown! Catcher and James.
So about like it's like a barbecue place. So I'm gonna get this this potato casserole stuff.
All right, I'm gonna eat here. I don't want to eat it.
There's not anything to eat.
All right, I'll find something.
You sure you don't want anything?
No, that doesn't seem appealing.
Well, what sounds good to you?
Hey.
I think somebody needs muted.